All right, we've got 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, where I'm located. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us today. This is the first of many we're calling Deminars, half webinar, half demo. Where we're going to be highlighting certain products, certain solutions, and today we're going to be starting with ConcreteGo. My name's Jason Campbell. Happy to be here today. We're going to go a little bit. We're going to go pretty high level over ConcreteGo. First, we're going to give you a little intro to Sysdyne. We'll talk a few ConcreteGo facts and figures, and then we're gonna jump into the demo and load some concrete. So, first and foremost, Sysdyne is we're an end-to-end provider. And when we say end-to-end, we mean end-to-end. So when you start thinking about getting a job to winning it, right? That's where our quote and CRM solution comes in to executing the job, where you've got to dispatch it, take the orders, schedule it, batching where you're actually making the concrete, and then you got to deliver it. GPS, truck and driver management, e-ticketing, to the most important part is getting paid for it, getting into the back office with our invoice and AR solution. So we built this entire ecosystem to work together seamlessly so you can run your entire ready mix operation from Sysdyne solution. A little about Sysdyne. We've been around a long time. Actually, we were founded in 1976. Our headquarters located in Connecticut. But we are a modern company as well. So we've got remote folks spread out all over the US and also internationally. But our development and our customer service is all US based. So when you call for customer service, you're going to get someone on the phone. More than likely, they're going to be cross trained across multiple products. And we take great pride in that. We lead through innovation. That's why we get up in the morning, and that's all we work on. That's all we focus on. It's at our core. We're an independent company. No one has for any ownership in Sysdyne that has any kind of influence in product direction. We get our direction from the industry and from customers. And again, we are located in North America. We also have customers in Australia, New Zealand, and South America. So what makes us tick? We're proud to be independent in our decision making. We're very proud that we were the first ones to be in the cloud. And we'll kind of get into that in a little detail in just a minute. And we had the most experience with it. We like that we offered all-in-one solution, but we also want to be flexible enough to work with other providers who want you to have that best-in-class experience that you need every day to make your operations work. We're scaled. So we're scaled to handle the large publicly traded companies. That's why we went and got our SOC 2 compliance, for example, as well as one plan operations. We take real pride in being a partner. And at the end of the day, the data that we get is yours. And we want to make sure that you know that you own your data. We're here to help you run your business. So if you kind of put our growth path in perspective, the company was formed in the late 70s, but in the early 80s and 90s was a lot of learning. We grew slowly in the beginning, learned a lot from early development, early customers. Our growth has been deliberate. Years of work. We've had a carefully targeted product strategy, and now the industry is starting to see all of this work pay off. We didn't grow through acquisitions, right? Our growth has been 100% organic, and it's based on development, market intelligence, and engaging with you guys, engaging with the industries. We really didn't start this upward growth path, frankly, until our products got better. And we made a pact back in early 2008 when we first launched Cloud Dispatch that we're going to change this industry. And all that work is starting to come to fruition, and the market is starting to take notice. ConcreteGo first cloud dispatch launched in 2008. We've had a cloud-based dispatch system for over 15 years. And cloud dispatch is not easy. We've had plenty of time to mature this product. We know you can't really afford to go through growing pains with a new cloud system, and we've already gone through those growing pains. And our cloud dispatch is now mature. If you go up the curve to Strata, our first version, we used a tablet for electronic ticketing in 2013. That was 3 years after the first generation iPad came to the world. We saw the future, we saw where it was going, and we did all the work on the development back in 2013 for this. Now, as you kind of get into the 2020s, we're the first, still the only company that moved our batch software to the cloud. And the cool thing about our batch system, it's on the same database as our dispatch system. So everything is securely linked and accessible. And now as we're starting to get into, you start hearing the buzzwords of AI and machine learning. So all this operational data is in the cloud. our business and our BI module, which was just launched last year, takes all that data and gives you real-time business insights. So we've taken data from these systems and started to give the customers in the industry access to it so you can make better decisions. Things like this kind of led us into what I'll show you today is a really cool feature of ConcreteGo, our customer behavior optimization tool. So what we're doing is we're trying to get this industry out of the anecdotes and get data and allow you to use this data to communicate better with your customers. And then our latest and greatest, we just released a fully functioning, fully integrated invoice and AR solution. So everything we have done is built for the ready-mix operation in mind. And like I said, the market is starting. So you put all this together, forms a suite, meets every need that you have to run your operation. It's fast, it's reliable, and it's purpose-built for our industry. Now, as I mentioned, our products are built on an interoperable platform, which, what that means is when we build these products, we don't use intermediaries, we don't use communication tools to link up disparate systems. We build these things to communicate on the same language, so they're dependable for you. Now, at the same time, we want to be flexible. So if you use other systems, we have an open, easy to use API. It's part of our strategy to bring your technology in. So some of the providers that we also integrate with are ERP providers. Most of the ones here, you're familiar with SAP, Viewpoint, with a lot of customers on, that also use QuickBooks as well. We bring tax information in via CoreLogic for sales tax integrations. All of the major batch controls, our dispatch and GPS work with as well. And we also integrate with these GPS systems. Some more partners that we integrate with, the major QC companies out there, technology providers, we work with them as well. Really good integration with Verify. We're doing some really cool stuff with those guys right now, bringing their slump information into our iStrata platform. Industry-specific CRM, we have a really good integration with SlabStack. We're seeing those guys really grow and become a really strong partner of ours as well. Also on the aggregate side, great work with TAC Insight, a good skill management thing. So, we also realize that while everything we produce and develop works together, we also work with third parties as well. But today's about ConcreteGo. So it's our core product. This is our anchor. A few facts about ConcreteGo. We put 30 million yards a year through this system. We have a large, diverse set of customers. So of those over 700 plants that are dispatching with ConcreteGo, we have one plant operations. We have a 90 plant operation. So we can scale up or down and meet the needs of any size operator out there. 3 million tickets dispatched, over 2,500 users, almost 8,000 trucks dispatched just last year. Now, and on later seminars, we'll get into iStrata and also Cloud Batch. Cloud Batch being new, we've got over 1,000 batch systems out there. But we're up over 200 now that have moved over to the cloud, and we have new ones moving just seems like every day. So, like I said, the market is starting to like this new technology, and we're starting to really enjoy the growth of it. All right, let's get into the demo. I'm going to pull my ConcreteGo over. Web-based. So basically, you've got an internet connection, you can make concrete, and you can dispatch concrete. So this is our homepage for ConcreteGo. So you can see across the top here, customers, plants, companies. You can manage your entire ready-mix operation virtually from this website. All of your items, orders, configuration, and then you can even get to your batch system. I'll show you how that works in just a minute. So customers, we'll just kind of fly through these real quick, but this is how you manage all of your customers. So if you want to look up a particular one, it's a smart search feature. So I'm going to look up this particular customer. This is where you manage everything. Here are the products that we've sold them, all of the contact information, and you manage all of this, like I said, right here from this one web page. Managing all of your plants is done the same way. That's my plan I'm going to be dispatching from as well. So you get on here with your location, scheduling, your plant cost, all that is managed within ConcreteGo. Mix designs. So on the items function of ConcreteGo, this is where you manage all of your mix designs. So if I'm going to grab one here, let's just grab this guy. This is where we start to make sure that we can get all the locations, get your plants, get the mix designs sent down to the batch panel. That's all managed from ConcreteGo. Here's the order page. So from a high level, when you log into ConcreteGo, you can get a pretty easy view of these are the existing orders that we have today. So you can manage them from here. as well as the tracking screen, which I'll show you in just a minute. But if I want to copy an order, it's pretty simple. Click on that, copy, and then you go from here. And you can also copy from the tracking screen, which I'll get to that in just a minute. This is where most people are going to spend their time that are using ConcreteGo. And when we get into the tracking screen, we're going to bring this up. And I'm going to run through this in just a minute, kind of run you through kind of the heads up display. This is where dispatchers live every day. And we've built this to where you can manage most everything from an order entry management standpoint from the tracking. But I want to touch on a few more highlights here on the reporting side. This is where we're going to get to our dashboards. Now, if you look at this, what this is an enterprise. You can make this as big as you want. You can see your entire enterprise. You can see a section of plants, but this is more of a management heads up display to show you what's going on in your operation right now. And we're reading the information right from our dispatch system. So for example, today in this operation, I have 1,454 yards scheduled. I've ticketed 181. So I kind of have an idea of how my day is going as far as how much volume we've got now. These are the types of orders that I have. These are completed orders. These are orders that are currently up on hold, normal, will call. So you always know what's going on in your operation by looking at this dashboard. 16 orders today. I've got one order canceled. And we report on this, by the way. I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit as well. Yards per hour. How many trucks you have active? I don't have any ticketed. I'll have one active in just a minute when I ticket it. But we're also reading delivery cycle performance. So what are my round trip times? And how are they compared to yesterday? So if I was doing into this, I can see that today I'm just under 50 minutes. I was 58.6 yesterday. So I'm actually having an improvement, whereas my loading times are a little off. Okay. Yesterday I was 2.7, now I'm 3.2. So we're keeping these KPIs in front of you so you can see how you're doing and get a snapshot of how the operation is doing. Over here, I see the volume ranked by plant. My plant has 710 yards today, Lake Park 310. So you can see how your other plants are doing as far as volume goes. Order outlook for the week. Here's how my week looks. What we really want is we want this up, and I envision, some customers will put this up on a screen in their dispatch office or any kind of a main common area, maybe a driver's room, so they can kind of get a look at what's going on. We've got this data in our system. What we're doing with these dashboards is we're just showing you what the system is showing, and we're making it easy to see so everybody can look at this and know exactly what's going on. Same thing with drivers available versus truck demand. How many drivers do we have available, and actually how many do we need based on the real orders that we have? And this comes in some markets. We had cement issues last year in the industry, and maybe it's cement production, maybe it's cement trucking, but having this information in front of you can help you plan. So now I'm pulling the mix designs out of the orders that I have. So basically what this is doing is constituents, and I'm pulling my cement requirement by day. So I know on Monday I have 111 tons that I need to produce, and it's based on the actual orders. And that will change as the orders change. But it's kind of giving you a look ahead weekly on how your cement's going to be. And we also have hourly. Okay, so day to day, you're going to be able to see how much cement you're going to use. So 2 o'clock this afternoon, looks like I have a little bit of a spike here. I better make sure I've got plenty of cement on the road. So this is kind of an overarching look at our dashboards. This is included with ConcreteGo. This is not a separate product. So if you're a ConcreteGo subscriber, you use ConcreteGo Dispatch, you will have this dashboard as well. And we have loads of BI reports as well. I'm going to come back and show you these at the end. Because like I said, what we're doing here is taking the data that you're producing every day. And I had a president of a company tell me one time, our industry has all this data. We need to do something with it. And so this big, long list over here that you see of reports that we have, that's us doing something with it. Okay. So I think customers are really starting to get excited about these BI reports, and we're coming up with new ones seemingly every day. So let's go over to the tracking screen, and we'll run you through this. Now, this is where dispatchers live every day. So what you see across the top here is your statuses. So you've got ticketed. Okay, you've got your loaded trucks that are on the way to the job, trucks that are on the job. So you will see these trucks popping up and down the screen here as we go. Also on pouring and washing, and then returning to the plant. Most of these are auto-generated, so they're geofence based. So when the truck leaves the geofence at the plant, you're going to get that to job status. When that truck leaves the geofence at the job site, you're going to get that returning status. We're in the process of field testing our drum sensors right now. So this pouring and washing status will be automated as well. And so that should be released shortly. Back across the top here, if you want to enter a new order, we're going to enter an order in just a minute, but let's keep skipping across here. So that's today's date. If I want to look at tomorrow, it's just a quick arrow over. I'm looking in the future. Let me get back to today, hit the T, and we're back. Now I come from the dispatch world of things, and so I sort of geek out over this stuff. But yeah, I've tried to describe to people the way this was designed as kind of a common sense dispatch screen, tracking screen, and so everything is in here. It's quick. We don't want you bouncing around from screen to screen. You should be able to do most everything you need in this screen. So if I want to filter out certain orders, I can see I'm off, so I have my weather permitting over here, my normal. We're going to get into wait list in just a minute. Will call orders, things like that. If I just want to see my wait list orders, for example, let's just delete that and we'll put wait lists. Now, let's talk about wait lists for a minute. I worked in a market that we were constantly overbooked, and our wait list was a whiteboard where we would take a dry erase marker and we would write customers down, and as we got room for orders and orders fell out, we would put them in. With the waitlist function, you go ahead and you put the order in and you just mark it as waitlist. And so what this does is puts the order in, you have all the work done. And when they call in and say, hey, yeah, we can actually get you, then all you have to do is just make it normal. And now you have an order. So it's like I said, it's common sense things like that that make the dispatcher's lives easier. Also will calls. So if you come across here, if you want to confirm orders, so the process I used to have is we would call a day ahead on will calls. But what this does is puts everything in front of us. And so when I call this customer, I can say, yep, confirmed by Jason, and we're going to confirm it. And now we have a firm order. And so you can go through there and check all your orders and get everything done. Again, it just saves a lot of time. You can sort your tracking screen, start time, order code by customer name. Most people do start time. Decide which plants you want to show. This one, if I want to see all of my demo sites, I see this, but I may not be dispatching all of them. So I'm going to look at we call them boards. I'm going to look at my board, which is here. And these are the plants that I'm responsible for. So let's put it in order. All right. So again, we don't want to have to go to a different screen to put in an order. Let's just put it in. So you hit new and the order screen pops up right here in front of the tracking screen. So we're going to put this in for today. Again, we want to go through this quickly. So we have a smart search function. There's the customer that I'm going to put an order in. Any pre-canned notes that you want to pop up, you can set this to come on or off. You don't have to have the notes. Now we're going to place an order for this Walmart. Now we have the address because sales rep won the job, put the project in. So now we're placing orders off of this project. So all of this is pre-entered into project. If I want to see a map of it, I can pull this up here. We have an integration with Google Maps, so I can see the location. Up here, I have the address and the latitude and longitude. Now, today we're not going to be pouring here. We're actually going to have to pour over here. So all you have to do is grab this, drag it, and you can see the address and the lat long change. And what this does is put the geofence here and also puts turn by turn for the drivers, either on the printed ticket or on the tab. So we're going to mark that as the job site. Now we're going to look at the route. Again, we have full Google Maps integration here. So there's the route. Now, a lot of dispatchers know what's going on with some of the roads, and we may not be able to go this way. So you can grab this, drag the route here, drop it, and now the turn-by-turn's changed, and also you have a new route. So that driver will get the new turn-by-turn directions on his tablet. Save that. Let's see. We're going to pour some paving, and here's the mix design that I already have in that project. He wants 150 yards. We're going to do 10-yard loads, 4-inch slump, and he wants to start at, let's say, 1 o'clock. Now, as you see these travel times, we are reading Google Maps. So at 1 o'clock, this should be the travel time. You can see it changes automatically. Okay. And he wants to go 8 minutes apart. So what he's ordering is 75 yards an hour. So this is order entry. I'm going to show you a couple of features here that are really great. And the first one is what we call CBO. It's customer behavior optimization. So this idea came from, like I mentioned earlier, getting this industry off the anecdotes and getting it on data. Okay. And so what's happening here is your dispatch or your customer service rep is having a conversation with the superintendent or somebody on the field. Maybe it's a sales guy, okay, sales rep, and they want 75 yards an hour. Now, the question you always ask, especially when you're in a busy market, is are they really going to pour 75 yards an hour? Because if I'm going to deliver this the way they're ordering it, I need 9 trucks for this order. Okay. I'm already busy. I'm already overbooked. I need those trucks elsewhere. Well, when I click this shows what they've actually been pouring. So they want it every 8 minutes. They say they're going to unload it every 8 minutes. But what they've actually been doing is unloading every 11 minutes. Okay. This allows you to have a real conversation with a customer. This is not guessing. This is actually taking the information from what they've actually done. So if I go up here, if I go over here to history, I can actually see what they've actually done. Okay. So for the current usage and project, so on this project, when they pour paving, they've averaged 11 minutes unloading for the past 6 months. And I can go down here and see actually what they've actually done. Okay. So again, now having a real conversation, Mr. Customer, you say you're going to do 75 yards an hour. You've been pouring 55 yards per hour. Okay. So now what you're doing is you know that you can get away with probably 7 trucks on this. And now I've just put 2 trucks back in your network. If you do this just for half your orders, you pick up a truck here and a truck here. Now your service capability starts to really improve. And you're able to actually discover you can take on more work. You can take on more concrete deliveries. So again, this is just a tool to help you have a conversation with customers. Not all customers are going to, accept that. We obviously we get that, but this allows you to have a real conversation based on real data. Okay. Now, the other thing, let's get into the graph. Okay. So let's look at the demand graphs. So what we're doing here is we're looking at our plant. So here you can see I'm already overbooked, right? So these are normal orders. These are wheel calls. And you can see you can have different plant setups where you can see different combinations of plants. Okay. And across here shows you what we've ticketed. Okay. Well, you can see that's highlighted. Here's what we have still on wheel call. I think we had, yep, there's a couple of weather permitting ones. We have some on hold. But what I'm about to show you is we're going to model one. So back in this order, I want to see what happens if I actually take this order. So when I hit the modeling button, what this is going to do, it's going to put this on the tracking screen before I put the order in. So now I can kind of look at this and I can say, okay, what is this actually going to do to me? Can I afford to take this order or not? Okay. And so now I can see, well, I'm already overbooked. So what I really need to do here is probably see if you can move this back, right? Or whatever conversation you have with your customer. So let's go back here to the order and say, all right, well, let's back you up to, let's say 3:30. Return the modeling off and we're going to remodel it. Now you can see that, you know what? He really needs to pour this today. But now I can see that, you know what? He can go, but he needs to go later. Now you can see you can actually fit this order in today. So again, little things like this allow the dispatchers and the customer service folks to actually measure these out and see what's really going to impact their business. So I'll take that, okay, that off, and we're going to save it. So now I have an order. All right, let's load a truck. So down here at plant 7, this is my plant. Here's my order stack. Okay, here's my orders to load. So I'm going to drag this up. And you can see, obviously I'm running kind of behind on some of these, but these are all the orders that I have to load today. So I grab a truck and drop it on here, or I can drop it up here. Okay, and 315 is actually my truck, so we're gonna load him in just a minute. Another way you can see this is you can have this with more detail. So if I want to see all of my details, look, this order is already completed. This shows estimated print times, order quantity. Just another way to show the dispatcher more details on what's going on. Here are your mixes, the addresses, all the spacing and everything that you need. All right, let's go back to my plant here. Here's the order. Here are my customers, the time they were due on the job, the mix, what they have ordered, what we shipped. And then over here are a couple little hot buttons. So let's look at, I think I have, is it this one? There we go. So if you've got to call a customer and find out what's going on, you put the name and the number in the order. If you hold that mouse over the phone, there's his number right there. So you can call him directly from here. You can see the number directly from here and call. Yeah, if I want to look at the location on the map, just click this, it instantly pops up so I can see what's going on or see where the job's located. Couple other little things here. real quick if I want to change the color, because I know this, dispatchers communicate this way. All right. So if I want to change the color of this to say, hey, I'm putting this in red, so we got to really pay attention to this order, we can do that. I want to change the font. Super easy, super quick. And now I've changed this. Any notes I need to put on here? Just click the notes. I put this on this morning, told the customer we were packed today, we're going to be a little slow. And so that pops up when the ticket goes to the batch system. So the batch guy knows exactly what's going on. Again, we're trying to keep everybody in the loop on what's going on. All right. So let's ticket this truck. We're going to grab it. I'm going to drop it. There's the note that popped up again. One last look. All the customer looks good. There are the instructions. We'll load 5 yards just because it's a little bit faster. And we're going to print the ticket. Now you can see the truck is in ticketed status. The tablet in the truck now has the ticket. Okay. So let's go over here and batch. So again, we'll also have a cloud batch seminar, but basically what you're looking at here is I'm going to be able to batch this from anywhere with an internet connection. This is our cloud batch product. So as I open this, I can see what the plant sees from a batch standpoint. Okay, let me put this down here so we can see the entire plant. I'm going to make this a little brighter so we can see it. So here's how the cloud batch looks. And like I said, hopefully you'll join us for our future webinar on this as well. But now you can see my ticket stack, and there's my ticket. Okay, so I'm going to load this. There's the note. I'm just going to go demo. Now I got an ag error, so that's one of the alerts. So if I go back over here to tracking screen, you can see I've automatically moved over into loading status. That little down arrow means that the truck is actually loading. Now, again, all of this is interoperable, right? So if I go over to our Strata, which is our GPS e-ticketing system, I'll scroll down and find my truck. So you can see my sand's overweighing. So you're gonna get the alert. We're still weighing that up. All right. So here's my truck. I've ticketed it. If I scroll on this, it says to job. It's because I'm sitting here still, but you can see the information. So there's the ticket, the plant, the order number, all the information is here. And again, we'll have a nice Strata one in the future, but I just kind of want to show you that this information is here. Maintenance guys need to get on this plant. One more thing here on the ticket. If you want to see the ticket, here's the actual ticket. So we already see this. So your customers will be able to see this. Whoever you assign the rights to this will be able to see the ticket as well. You can see all of our tickets here. Actually, I have one this morning that I already had signed. So you can download this. There's the signature, and it's all ready to go, all fully integrated. So let's go back over to our dashboard, and I want to show you one quick BI report. Like I said, as you've seen, as we talked about the data and using the data to help you have conversations with your customers. Customer scorecard report is something that's very useful. So there's a lot of information on here, but what this does is give you a true look at your customer. Okay, we rank customers. What is quote unquote a good customer? Well, you're going to be able to find out really quick here, right? So if you look at this top customer here, Max Construction, there's their volume. They've got the second most volume. There's our round trip time, how they rank in round trip, our on job wait time, cancel order ratio. So we actually measure which customers cancel the most orders. Okay. You can see discipline development here. They cancel 10% of their orders. Okay. So again, like I said, you can start having real conversations with your customers. We also have one here that's leads to order accuracy. So what is this customer ordering spacing wise, and what are they actually doing? Okay. So this customer is requesting 30 minutes apart. They're actually about 34 minutes apart. So they're pretty active. Okay. But you've got some customers that just aren't doing what they say they're going to do. Again, we want to give you the data and put it in actionable form so you can take this to your customers and you can have real conversations with them. Loads of reports, any kind of sales analysis reports, order reports, driver reports. Everything is coming here, and I'm telling you, we have new reports every day. It seems like coming out. So we are discharging, and I'm going to run this truck through its entire cycle. Okay, let's discharge. All right, I think he's good. So once we're finished, now everything you're going to see here, I'm going to be going through from the tablet. So like I said, with our Strata, or if we're integrated with your GPS system, when that truck leaves, it will automatically move over to job. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm watching, and based on the travel time, he's showing 37 minutes from the job. Okay. I'm gonna put him on job. Again, you can hear the tablet saying that as well. But back over in Strata, again, there he is. He's on the job. A couple more things on the tracking screen too. Now, if you've got an order that's on wheel call and you want to move it to normal, I've used systems before where you have to open the order and you have to go up here to the status and change it within the order and then save it. But with our tracking screen, you do it from here. Okay. So you can go on here, grab this normal and automatically firm it up. So like I said, very intuitive, very user friendly for our customers. Let's go ahead and get him going. We're gonna start pouring down.
Ticket status is
Now, like I said in the before, and I'll kind of show you this growth again. This is where we've been. This is where we're going. So our fully integrated truck sensors are coming out. So right now they're hitting the pour button, but before long we'll be getting automatic.
ticket is changed. Ticket status is washing.
Now, if you want to communicate with the truck, it's a simple right click. If we want him to go back to a different plant, right click, to plant, pick which plant we want him to go to. We want him to go to plant 4, okay? And he'll get a message on his stat out of which plant to go to. And now the dispatcher knows where to go.
Ticket is changed. Ticket status is to plant. You will return to the plant setting.
Back to the dashboard. Now I'm going to open this up from the beginning. So again, you'll be able to see it can grab whichever plant you need to see the data on. And this is reading live. It shows you what time the data is refreshing here. And you can see I've got a bad data here, but I actually know which plant that is. So I'm going to have to take this, boom, take that out. And now you can see exactly what's going on. All right, looks like we're loading another truck there. Okay, ConcreteGo, pretty straightforward. Like I said, we want to make this simple. The feedback we get is very user friendly. Last couple of things here, as you look at your plants, you're going to be able to see what's going on with them. Scheduled. Here's what we've shipped. Any wait list yardage is going to be here at the top, so you're going to be able to see that. Last little bit down here, trucks that are out of service, you're going to see over here. So this is kind of at the dispatcher's fingertips. Any trucks that are clocked in but not in service yet are going to be here. And these are the trucks that are going to be clocked out. We actually had one earlier, but somebody must have clocked him in. All right. So really want to thank everyone for joining us today. That's a pretty high level view of ConcreteGo. If you want a more in-depth look, or some more one-on-one time as far as getting more into the nitty-gritty of the demo, please sales@sysdynetechnologies.com. Reach out and we will have someone get back to you as soon as possible. And then also, this was our first one of these demonars. Like I said, half webinar, half demo. So we're going to have another one in a couple of weeks. And that's going to be Trig Engine's going to be on this with us doing Strata time and attendance. So we've made a lot of improvements to that. But as you start to partake in these, you'll be able to see how all of our solutions and products work together. And so this Strata one will be really good. All right. Thanks again for your time today. Enjoy the rest of your week.